It's about more than sign language. We're talking about the ASL Immersion Academy in Fargo, and it has a greater mission. Stacy Tornell is here to tell us about the Vineyard second generation. And I'm just checking my mic because I don't think it was on there. Nope, my mic was not on. Sorry about that. Stacy Tornell is here. She's talking about Vineyard second generation and the ASL Immersion Academy that is here in Fargo. Stacy, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so we want to talk about, you're here with the Vineyard second generation. Kind of talk about how that's different or a branch out from the ASL Immersion Academy.
Yes, so the Vineyard second generation is the name of our nonprofit, and the name is actually kind of a strange one. Many people think we're about wine or something like that, but actually we're based off of Martha's Vineyard, where back in the 18th century they had everybody on the island signed. It didn't matter if you were deaf or hard of hearing or whatever your position was in the community, everyone signed. So it was a fully equitable, accessible place. And so that's kind of what we're trying to create here with our American Sign Language Immersion Academy.
And so let's talk a little bit about this. What do they do there? You mentioned just a little bit trying to, create equity and communication, but who goes there? How can people, if they're interested in it, go and learn more?
Yep. So we are open to deaf and hard of hearing children, anyone that has deaf or hard of hearing members in their family, anybody that's hearing that just wants to do a language experience. But basically we're there to give equitable access to children that are deaf or hard of hearing in a natural language environment for them. About 90 to 95% of deaf and hard of hearing children are born to hearing parents, and so there's a critical lack of resources out there, especially for them learning sign language. So children are often delayed with their language because their parents don't have the not the ability, but they don't have the resources to learn.
The skills.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're there to provide that and to provide help and then to provide a natural language environment for those kids for the incidental learning that they're not getting as well.
And so it's also dual immersion, is that?
Yes. So we actually have hearing children that come as well, which is absolutely amazing because they learn to sign, and then the kiddos here that are in our community, they have a peer network then when they go to school. So they have peers that can communicate with them because oftentimes they're so isolated at school because there's only one or two mainstreamed in the environment and nobody else can communicate. So they get to be able to learn the language, and then they have peers to communicate with when they go to school. And
I mean, for a lot of people, we even talked about this, even for children that are just maybe nonverbal, they teach them sign language. It
Absolutely.
has nothing to do if they can hear or not. It helps in their learning in general.
Absolutely. It's one of those things too I'll use with my kids. If we're in an environment where it's supposed to be quiet, maybe I'll sign to them something just to communicate, like, we need to behave now or something like that. Mm-hmm. But yes, it comes in handy, yeah.
And so one thing quick is I notice that every time you mention the students there, you always say deaf or hard of hearing.
Yes.
And some people might actually hear hard of hearing and think that they shouldn't use that term, mm-hmm. But it's actually kind of the opposite.
Right. Yep, the preferred term in the community is deaf or hard of hearing and not hearing impaired. That's kind of an older term that's used, and it kind of implies that there's maybe something wrong with that person when actually deafness is not viewed as a disability in the deaf community.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
it's just a different way to communicate.
Yep.
Awesome. And so we do want to get into, you have a Halloween event coming up.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes, so Friday night it's a Halloween fundraising bash. We have punch cards for tickets, so there'll be $1, $3, $5, and $10, and then we'll have a ton of different games with prizes. We will have door prizes. We have a bicycle and scooters. We have a silent auction going on. We have some amazing donations that we've gotten for silent auctions, and then we'll also have kind of a little haunted house put on by the students at MSUM. So.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it should be a great time.
And again, I'm guessing that would be a place that children who can hear or are hard of hearing, both welcome, both able to communicate with there.
Absolutely. Anybody that's deaf or hard of hearing, it would be a fully accessible environment, and everybody else, you're welcome to come and just see what we're all about.
I think that's so amazing. I saw something online one time, and it was just like a post saying that they went somewhere to some event and they asked to get an interpreter for sign language. Mm-hmm. And the person that was in charge of it said, "I'm sorry, we're not able to do that." Mm-hmm. The person went to the event and they signed their whole presentation.
Yep.
And then everyone was like, oh, we didn't realize that was going to be the presentation. And it kind of proved a point of how people who are able to hear kind of take for granted
yes
what we can all do and see and hear in everyday life.
Absolutely, and that's one of those important things, that incidental learning that we all have. We have access to every day. We have so much information coming at us. Those children usually don't get that information, and so being able to provide that with them and to explain things going around is just such a unique opportunity for us and for those kids too.
Yeah, I think it's great. The more people that know it, the better.
Absolutely.
And so, how can people get a hold of you if they're like, you know what, I want to check this out, I want to support this and help people in our community?
Okay, so we have a website. It's www.vineyardsecond.org. And then also you can email myself, which is Stacy Tornell at vineyardsecond.org, or we have an info email that you can email. And then otherwise, if you know anybody in the deaf community, most people know about us kind of now. We're just starting to get out there, but feel free to contact us with any questions or any thoughts or anything else.
Yeah, or even just to learn more. All right, well, Stacy, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you.
Coming up here on today's show, we're heading out to New Motion to get a look at the products that help with mobility and independence. That's right after the break.